Have you ever wanted to move things with your mind, or maybe shoot a fire serpent from your hands, or shoot some rain down from the sky? It all depends. If you've answered no to any of these, you're probably lying. But if you said yes, I got a game for you. And that game is Golden Sun, or Golden Sun: The Lost Age for this specific review. So I talked to a couple of my friends, and not a lot of people know about Golden Sun. Golden Sun is a Game Boy Advance game that came out for Europe and North America in 2003. Now, the reviews for this copy, Golden Sun: The Lost Age, is a little bit lower than Golden Sun. I think people were a little upset when it came to traveling and having to backtrack, which I totally get. Sometimes that's pretty time consuming. I found this game to be somewhat grindy sometimes, but that's exactly what you would expect getting into a JRPG. Now, Golden Sun: The Lost Age doesn't have a very complex story, but it takes place right after the events of the first game, and you are playing as Felix this time. And Felix's party starts out as Felix, Jenna, Sheba, and Piers, all unique adepts. And adepts are people that can control the elements. So fire, wind, water, earth. All of these are part of your arsenal for your party. Which brings me to my next point. There's a very diverse class system. Classes being you can make them interchangeable through your Jin that you collect throughout the game. So this goes back to backtracking. Sometimes you gotta backtrack when you unlock certain Psi energy for the Jin. And there's just a lot to this game. I think the series as a whole is pretty great, actually. Even Dark Dawn, which is the third game, not a lot of people enjoyed, but I really enjoyed that one as well. In fact, I just recently beat that one. And Golden Sun: The Lost Age specifically for me was the game that really got me into JRPGs or RPG element games, because beforehand I only really played Pokemon, which I'm sure a lot of you know that struggle as well. And I just really fell in love with the art style, with the puzzles in the game, and the gameplay itself. So, for instance, the puzzles where you typically use your Psi energy, which each adept has, and Felix using his move Psi energy, or Piers using Douse or Frost to like freeze things in your way to jump over them, or Sheba to use a whirlwind to access a new area, or just Jenna to heal, I guess. And what I'm trying to get at is that it's a Game Boy Advance game, right? So it's a very old game, but it's still a very fun game. I put a lot of hours into Golden Sun: The Lost Age. Now keep in mind, on this playthrough I didn't beat it, but a long time ago, back in like middle school, so years and years ago, I beat it, and I really enjoyed my playthrough. So I was wondering if it really held the test of time, and I gotta say it really did. I put a lot of time and effort to collecting the Jin. I really explored. I got into the lore again. I gotta say, one of my favorite parts of this game is when you end up in Gabamba for the first time, or Gobamba or whatever, and you pass through the villages and you're on this like espionage sneaky part. I find that a lot of fun. I played a lot of Metal Gear Solid, so I really enjoy elements like that. So that they're able to incorporate a puzzle style sneak mode, I don't know what you would call it, but I really enjoyed that. And especially when you unlock Piers for the very first time, you get access to the whole world. And what I mean is, when you get the boat, you get access to the world map, which unlocks different Psi energy, so you're able to unlock more places. So for instance, when you first unlock the boat, you go to Gaia Rock, which then you obtain the sand Psi energy, which lets you go underneath into the sand. So it gives you access to a place called Ankol Ruins, which gives you a piece to Trident to, finally get into Lemuria, Piers' homeworld. So there's a lot to this game. Like, as you just heard me explain, there's a lot. There's a lot of depth. You can literally just take it as little as you can, or as much as you can. What I mean by that is you can really develop a personal connection to each of these characters. I find them very fascinating to a degree, of course. Of their sprites, they're not like voice acted at all. You get the little beeps each time they talk. Frankly, they annoyed my girlfriend each time she would come in and she'd ask me why I'm playing this and why they're squeaking. Yeah, it's a Game Boy Advance game. I don't know what you would expect from that, but to be fair, it came out in 2003. I think it still holds up to games nowadays. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if Golden Sun came into like the mobile phone era, where if they wanted to stick with like more of like a low budget type, indie game style, because let's be real, Camelot Studios, their last game was Mario Tennis, which is a great game, but they haven't really dipped their toes into any JRPGs or Golden Sun, and we haven't heard any news for the next game for Golden Sun, even though Golden Sun Dark Dawn, we're left open to, them trying to make a new one. So, I don't know. We'll see. So I want to give this a rating. The game as a whole, I hope I piqued any curiosity. If you guys want me to really go in depth and really cover the Golden Sun series, I wouldn't mind doing something like that. Just leave a comment down below and I'll see what I can do about that. But for this game specifically, I'm just showing you certain clips. I'm sure you can tell that by now. But I'd say I'll do this out of a 5 out of 5 system. And for gameplay, I would say probably a 3 out of 5. For combat specifically, I'd say it's a 5 out of 5. I find this style of Psi Energy, where you unlock different classes through your Jin, which can like change out your classes, your class moves. I find that party system really fascinating. So the combat's always fun to me. It still holds up to today's standards, in my opinion. But I'm unprofessional, so I don't know who else you'd be looking for a Golden Sun review in 2020. I don't know. The art style, I find the art style, I don't know, it still holds up. Tell me what you guys think of the art style, but I really enjoy this pseudo 3D style. It really looks smooth and clean, especially when you start unlocking the weapon art styles. So for instance, when you unlock Excalibur, you get the move like Legend or whatever. Or for instance, I got a mace, which I put on Piers. I think it's called the Thanatos Mace. And the animation for that is called Heartbreak, where some like ghoul or reaper guy comes out and grabs the heart of whatever creature. I think that's really cool. Speaking of animation, I think the summon system in the Jin system is really fun. Whenever you use a Jin, it has a specific move set. So Flint, when you unlock Flint, the Venus Jin, it does like a super move. I don't know the exact number or calculation for that, but it basically doubles your attack for that specific move. When you get, let's say for example, I have 4 Venus Jin that I used, they go on cooldown, and then when they're on cooldown, you get like the little red orb or yellow orb, and you can use them for summons. So I think that's their way of like limiting how overpowered the summons can be, because once you really start getting into the summon system, there's a lot of really fun summons. For instance, when you fight the Star Magician, you unlock the summon, I think it's Azul, and Azul's just really, really powerful. I wasn't able to beat the Star Magician just because in this playthrough I wasn't that powerful, but if I was to grind and go back to it, I think beating Star Magician would be a lot of fun, and getting that summon would be a lot of, a big boost to my damage. And moving on from that, I think I would give that art style, the animations and whatnot, I think I'd give it a 4 out of 5. I think they hold up, especially when you're in combat. I'd say the overworld on my emulator that I was playing on here, the screen was shaking, which I don't remember it shaking when I had the Game Boy Advance, but who knows, that could just be my emulator. So for lore-wise, I give it a 3 out of 5 just because it's digestible, the puzzles weren't a lot of fun. For example, the lore goes, you're in the world of Weird, and alchemy was sealed years and years and years ago, so not in your lifetime. But the world is slowly dying because alchemy was sealed away, and the only way to bring it back is if you light all 4 elemental lighthouses. So in the first game, you're trying to stop the people from lighting the lighthouses because you believe, or Isaac believes, the protagonist from the first game, he believes that if alchemy comes back into the world, then the world will die. Just straight up die. But it turns out in this game, we find out that as a whole, if the lighthouses don't get lit, where literally just explodes. Like it's shrinking already. So it's a really easy plot to follow. So your characters just go around finishing the lighthouses and doing the dungeons in there and lighting all of those to bring alchemy back into the world. I want to give credit where credit's due. It's an old game, right? 2003, when it came out, it was amazing. And IGN rated it, I think it was like a high number. I don't have the exact number pulled up here, which bad on me. I'm supposed to be reviewing this. I should have all my information. But anyways, it was rated pretty high. It was in like the top Game Boy Advance games of all time. I think Golden Sun 2, so Golden Sun Lost Age, was rated a little bit higher than Golden Sun 1 in the viewer standpoint. So, you know, us as consumers, we voted. It was like top tier, basically, compared to the first one, which both games are really great. And just final points. I think you should definitely play it if you're a fan of the JRPG series. Definitely worth your time. Obviously, you don't have to sit down and play it in one playthrough. I think it's like 30 to 40 hours in a whole playthrough session. But my final thoughts, I would rate this probably at like a 3.5 out of 5. I'm not putting on my nostalgia filter on this one, but I do think that it's still a great game. I think that it's worth anyone's time if they really want to invest and play this. I think the story is awesome. I do think that it can get a little repetitive going back and forth, but overall, I do think it's a great game, and if you give it a chance, you won't regret it. And yeah. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. You know, let me know if you guys like this style. Let me know if you want me to change it up. Let me know if you want me to go more in depth. I don't mind doing any of that. I've recorded a couple different versions of this, but I wanted to really just breeze over it this time and just get this video out just because I was beating myself up, and you know, I just didn't want bad quality to be put out on my YouTube channel. So give me a holler, let me know in the comments down below. Like it, dislike it, you know, totally up to you. I want to improve as a content creator. I definitely want to make more videos, so let me know. I'm curious to know what you guys think, and hopefully I can catch you in the next video. Later, guys.